Guys, welcome back to the Matt Chat podcast with me, Frank Ciato, and Chris Shea. Unfortunately, my cousin Paul is out of town this week. And before we actually go into the topic matter of the day, we actually have a special guest in studio today. So why don't we welcome him on? Go ahead, come on aboard. The Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Woo! Styling, profiling, limousine riding, kissed all the girls and made him cry, baby. Woo! So I have to be here today.
You came in on a jet not too long ago, Oxford Airport.
I always come in on jets. You're talking to the Nature Boy. Did I not say it before? Jet flying, limousine riding, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, kissed all the girls, and what do? Make them cry, baby. Woo! So happy to be here. I watch you guys all the time. I'm sorry I missed your cousin, but thank you for contacting me and having me down here.
Thanks for coming down.
Who's your favorite?
My favorite is myself. Who do you think my favorite is?
That just makes sense.
My favorite is myself.
But if you had to exclude yourself, whose eyes do you like the best?
Enough about me. Let's get back to me. I'm not here for what? I can't even see the color of your eyes because the shine comes from my own. Glares them out. Woo!
I gotta tell you, Mr. Flair, we usually have a stick here, so if he gets out of control, we whack him over the head. But feel free to just put him in some kind
I will put him in the figure 4 leg lock and ruin whatever career he thought he had.
Okay, here we go. We may as well begin on that note. All right, so I want to mention something. I have to be honest, over the last probably 6 months, I've been to a lot of sporting events.
Woo!
And a lot of that going on.
Oh, there's a lot of that. Oh, dude, and there's a lot of that going on, which is why this is a perfect topic to have him here. There's a lot of very overzealous, not that you're overzealous, but there's a lot of very overzealous parents watching sporting events from the side. And watch this. I'm one of them. I'll be the first to admit it. I can get up, I get involved, I get real sweaty, I'll have tributaries running down my chest, my butt will be wet. I mean, I am engaged in it 100%. Having said that, there's one thing that I never do that I notice some of these parents doing, and that is attacking the kids. Listen, I'm in it, and if my son loses or if he wins, at that point I'm quiet. I go up.
What do you mean by attacking the kids?
Like their kids or somebody else's kids?
Like I'm talking about that parent that's sitting there saying, you know, like, kill him, get him, pin him. That's what I'm talking about.
Woo!
Especially if you're an overzealous guy. Like, let's say,
What are you talking about?
I'm just trying to think of a random person who's overzealous. But if you're an overzealous guy, dude, keep that stuff to yourself, man. You know, you want to encourage your kid, that's one thing.
Yeah.
You want to support the team, that's another thing. But when you start doing it and it puts down the other opponent, it's just wrong. What do you think?
Well, let me tell you what I think. I'm going to start real soft, and then we're going to bring it up as we need be. What I found in my competitive career is this. You either walk the walk or you talk the talk.
Good point.
And what happens in situations like that, I've been all over the country, all over the world.
And when you travel, how do you travel?
First class.
Baby, that's what I'm talking about.
Jet flying, limousine riding, wheeling, stealing, son of a gun! Woo! That kissed all the girls and made them cry. You know nothing about that.
I don't. I've only kissed one or two.
And neither do you.
I know nothing about kissing girls. I know a lot about crying.
Woo! But back to what I was saying. And if you notice the bling.
I did notice that, as a matter of fact. That's JC,
Get
right?
down with the
That's JC.
That's Jesus Christ.
That's right,
Mr.
JC.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Those type of people are the worst type. The worst type of people. I've seen it everywhere in my career. It's like an overzealous fan that makes the mistake of jumping in the ring. What happens to that fan?
What happens?
Figure four leg lock?
He gets his ass
He gets
lumped up. He gets snuffed. He gets a beat down. He gets beat up by the Four Horsemen. He gets beat up by any other wrestler that is around to see stuff like that. Woo! That's what happens. If you're not willing to pay the price, and I've done that, up and down, side to side, inside and out, you don't belong there. And those type of parents don't belong there. Especially the meatball-looking, fat-looking, ugly-looking, non-athletic, never got the girl, never had anything, got no money, got nothing, knows nothing. They need to sit there, watch it, keep your mouth shut, and do what you're told.
So what would you do in a scenario where your kid's wrestling and all of a sudden you hear some guy yelling from the bleachers, you know, kill him, get him,
Pin him,
wring
kill
his
him.
neck.
And let's make it even
Fuck him
worse.
up.
Let's make it even worse. Let's say, for example, you have a relationship with the guy. I mean, it's one thing if you're at a tournament, you know nobody, and you're excited. Get him, get him, get him. I can kind of see that. It's still unacceptable.
But if you got a relationship
it's
with
still
a guy,
but now you have a relationship, and you're doing the same type of behavior. That's just crazy.
but if you have that, I mean, if you have a, let's say there's a scenario where you have a relationship with somebody and their kid's wrestling as well, I gotta imagine you have some kind of idea that that person's like that.
You and I,
Blue,
no. But here's the thing: you and I would think that. And listen, even if he does have that personality, doesn't that person? And let's ask.
I'm not advocating
Let's
for
ask
it.
the authority here. But wouldn't you think that that personality gets put on hold for that one particular match?
Not always. I mean, you've seen kids. It's not about the kids; it's about the parents. You know, and it's.
And that's highly unfortunate. But what I'm saying in this instance, it's about the kids.
It should always be about the
Yeah.
kids. But I mean, you got a lot of kids who have parents that make it about them. You know, so like, what do you do in that scenario?
Somebody who doesn't make anything about themselves and makes things about other people. What's your take on that?
The first thing that I would say is I let that person understand who I am. The nature boy, Ric Flair.
Now, what would you do? Would you like throw leaves at him? Like what kind of by nature boy? Like explain. I'm not.
Discipline stick.
Well, let me explain to you what happens. I'd find that person, I'd walk him down, and the first thing out of my mouth would be this. I spent more money on spilt liquor than you made last year on the jet flying, limousine riding, wheeling dealing, son of a gun that kissed all the girls and made them cry. And then after that, I would invite that person to understand that you're dealing with 100% beef products, 100% man,
Black Angus meat, baby.
U.S. grade A Black Angus beef, to put it exact, and invite that person to test their skills in their big fucking mouth with a man and not use it on a kid.
But
that's how the nature boy
I have
does
to be
things.
honest. I don't know. I don't know much about the nature boy.
Woo!
That's right.
Woo!
Okay.
Woo! Woo!
I can't hear you.
Woo!
What'd you say?
Woo!
I gotta agree with you. I mean, it's a shame when a grown man does that and takes it out on. But what do you think that is? I mean, why would you think that's a?
I like to think.
reflection of
I
himself,
think
or like, why would somebody-
it's absolutely his own inadequacies. 100%. I think he's just feeling bad about himself. Maybe he didn't accomplish everything he wanted to accomplish when he was that age. So now he's trying to live vicariously through his kids. But it's to the detriment of other kids. Listen, you want to live vicariously through your kids. I get it. A lot of people do it. As long as it doesn't harm anybody else, fine.
But the thing is, they do it, you know, they just fall into like a type of rage kind of, where they're just shouting stuff and it's kind of belligerent. And if you're there, I've seen it too. You know, the guy should be decked. I mean, maybe you're not going to do that, but it's kind of out of line because kids are involved.
But I mean, are these guys like, look, are these guys showing up like it's, you know, Sunday football?
The guy's
mixed drinking
standing there
and
screaming, and he's turning red, and he's yelling, "Kill, kill, kill!" You know, it's
it's
just
seriously that bad. It was that bad.
It's that bad.
That's these
It's
guys.
absolutely that bad.
some people.
And like I said, and it's one thing if you don't know the person. But let's say, for example, my kid's wrestling your kid. And and we train together.
Yeah.
We've done things together. We've gone out together.
Sure.
We've shared. We've broken bread together. And I'm telling my son, get him, pet him. And I'm at the face is
So I
red.
mean, have you had a conversation with this person afterwards and been like, hey, you know, maybe tone it down. It's a little. And then if so, what was their response?
No, I agree 100%. That's exactly what should be happening. And the and I would think that the person's going to be like, hey, dude, sorry, I got caught up in the moment. But that doesn't always happen.
But what if the person's like, no, we teach my son there's no pussies around here.
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, what's your approach?
Well, the approach is once you've had that conversation.
Those are nice feathers, by the way.
Woo! Once you've had that
Are those
conversation.
peacock feathers? What are those?
Flamingos.
Oh, flamingos, I like those.
White, rare.
Ooh, the rare flamingos, yes.
The white lotus flamingo.
Where's Paul?
Woo!
My cousin's gonna be so pissed that he missed Ric Flair.
That's the scary part. Of all people, he's the one person that loves him. We're going to have to try and...
Everybody loves Ric Flair, baby. All the ladies love Ric Flair.
To my
The
understanding-
men, the women, the children, the old people. Everybody loves the Nature Boy, the 16-time heavyweight champion of the world. Woo! What's there not to love?
I mean, just looking at you, I can see where all the ladies are getting their point of view from. The hair looks nice. Do you use any gel products in there?
This is 100% natural.
Chris was asking what kind of face cream you do use because I mean you have like for your age no wrinkles, and Chris is trying to.
I'm trying to do something. I mean, come on.
Because his
now.
crow's feet are just.
It's bad.
He's Odin of the eyes.
What you're looking at here is nothing but love from the ladies. No cream necessary.
Woo! 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 All right, let's get back to the topic, please.
So I've experienced that actually at a wrestling practice when someone on your own team did that, and kid didn't last in wrestling, and you know, I talked to the father several times before that, and it's just practice, and the kid's wrestling with my kid, and he was losing, and the father's like, get up, kill him, smash him, and I'm like standing there, I'm looking at him, he's like, slaughter him, he's like screaming and yelling, I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna beat the shit out of you in like 10 seconds. Just shut up.
Now, would that be a justifiable reason to kick somebody's ass?
Depends how the kid's interpreting it. I mean, they're kids on the training.
Would you consider that bullying on it from an adult?
You know what I.
A kid might perceive it like that.
Absolutely.
I honestly find that the parents that do that are ones that never had an athletic career, or weren't super competitive, or do have like the deficiencies, like you were saying, where they're trying to live vicariously through their kid. And I don't get it. I don't like. What are you?
It's one thing to analyze it like this, like you are. It's another thing if you're there and it's your nephew. 'Cause
You're caught up in the moment.
Is there?
Oh.
And he's just a kid.
I'm gonna snap. I mean, don't get me wrong.
And the guy's standing next to you and he's yelling, "Kill him!"
I'm gonna look at him and go, hey, buddy.
Yeah.
Relax, man. They're just kids. They're toning it down to Matt. But I've also been when I lived in Florida, me and my buddies would go support our friends' kids, and we would go watch like a baseball game. And you've seen on the news, you got guys screaming
At the young.
like it's a Major League Baseball game, and you're just like, dude, I get it, but this is not Marlins Field where you're coming to get cocked and have a good time. Like you're watching kids. Like shut your mouth and relax, or there's going to be a problem. You know, when there's fist fights all the time over it, it's a little crazy. What I mean, really? Like really? Grown ass adult, really?
That's the problem. They should know better. They really should know better.
Well, that's the point. They should know better. And the fact that it always seems to be the same persons doing the same things over and over and over.
Woo!
Woo! Woo!
Because they've obviously never been taught a lesson. Someone's got to have to
There
check.
you have
Someone's
it.
got to chin check them or just check them and say, hey, guess what? This behavior is unacceptable. And until that happens, it will perpetuate.
Well, what kind of man starts berating another child that happens to be the opponent of your child?
A weak man.
Especially if your child's beating that child.
That's
Amen.
even,
Shut your
that's
mouth.
Even worse. That's even worse.
Shut your mouth. Be respectful. of what's going on in that contest. It doesn't have to be a wrestling ring. It doesn't have to be a field. It could be whatever it is, whatever contest is going on.
Lacrosse.
Be respectful. Accept that one. Be respectful
Could be a lip syncing
of
contest.
what is going on. Woo! That's what it's about. And those individuals that step over the line, it's very simple how we handle business in the squared circle. Two men walk in, one comes out. Woo! That's how it's done. And in my professional opinion, individuals as such that you are talking about need to be chin-checked. They've never done anything. Woo!
I just got contacted.
They've never done a thing. You hold up.
It's natural.
Don't cut me off. When the Nature Boy is speaking, do not cut me off. I don't care who's calling in. I don't care who it's from. You've got greatness in front of you right now. I will dictate what goes on here.
She wants to see your
keep the camera
chest.
right here.
She's not seeing nothing. I'm in the middle of something. Don't interrupt me again. Don't cut me off. Don't wrap me up. Those individuals need to be taught a lesson in respect, discipline, and violence. Because they themselves have never experienced competition. They themselves have never put in a situation where they have to defend themselves physically or their honor. They live vicariously through a child. And that is the weakest and the worst type of individual. You can't even call him a man. Woo!
I couldn't agree anymore.
Words from the Nature Boy.
I have to be honest. I feel the exact same way. I just hope that stuff doesn't happen in front of me because I'm the guy. I'm not necessarily going to chin check you, but I'm definitely going to say, hey, chill out a little.
So I was going to say, as a parent, because I don't have any kids that I know about.
If you're doing it to my if you're doing it
Have
to
you
my
experienced
kids
any of it?
and my kid's losing, I may just chin check you.
Well, have you
Because
experienced
obviously
it?
I live vicariously through that shit.
Have you experienced it with your kid or anybody else's kid at all at tournaments? Because I mean,
absolutely.
because you have
All the
kids
time.
in all levels
Yeah,
of.
all the time it
And
happens.
you
It
have
happens
a
at the college level.
Well, I was going to say, you have a kid at the highest level. You know, I mean, when you see it there, what kind of responses are you getting? How does your kid? Has your kid ever had that kind of adversity, and what did he do to overcome it?
My son. I mean, when the nice thing is when you're on the mat, you don't hear anything most of the time. So I like to think that they don't hear that stuff. It's everybody around it that hears it, and it's just poisonous because it affects everybody. And everybody else thinks that that's acceptable behavior, and they can start acting like a knucklehead too.
How do they handle it at the college level? Do they allow that to go on, or do they escort them out? Or
Oh, watch this. I have to be honest. College is a totally different ballgame. You're never that close. It's totally different.
do you think they should kind of bring that to the lower levels? How they handle
Of course,
it?
they have to. They have to. Otherwise, this is why you see these fights in all these different sports breaking out, because of parents being knuckleheads over stuff that's going on with their kids. It's not parents being knuckleheads over stuff that's going on with another parent. It's because of what they're doing with their child.
So, but do you put it on that parent, or do you put it on, excuse me, on the organization who's
I put it on the parent.
Because I'll tell you what, I went to, Paolo's match, and I saw, a parent bark at a ref who felt he should have got 2 points, and immediately, hey, I'll throw you out. And, the guy kind of piped down, but I had never seen a ref kind of go to another parent like, hey, you get out.
Oh, I've seen that. It happens all the time. Happens all the time. Hell, it's happened to me.
I have an
I've heard
amateur
of that.
wrestling. I have an amateur wrestling background. That's where the Nature Boy comes from. My children wrestled in the amateur level. I've seen it. The Nature Boy goes, he visits, he watches, he supports the sport of amateur wrestling. I've seen it 1,000 times. I've seen it where officials had to come over and threaten parents with expulsion. Last time I saw this, one parent was told, "You'll be watching this through FaceTime in the parking lot."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because that official's awesome.
But why? So why do you think it's not congruent across the official spectrum, if you will? And I don't mean by like the official, like I mean officials.
Put it this way: if the official hears it, I think they address it. Especially if they start using derogatory curse words. They absolutely, from my experience, they absolutely address it.
And they're not taking like they're not going, hey.
But a lot of this stuff is
a lot
of this stuff too is just chatter from in the bleachers that becomes infectious. And then now you have other kids on your team. Everyone's starting to yell the same stuff. It gets way out of control. So,
Well, we're not talking about chatter.
Yeah,
We're talking about the overzealous parent that plants themselves mat side, ring side, field side, whatever it may be,
with the megaphone.
or a mouth like a megaphone,
Yeah.
that imparts their lack of wisdom on a child that's competing against their child and thinks there's no ramifications for stepping over the boundary. That's the problem.
So how do you feel? So you have a problem with obviously a parent yelling at another person's kid while their kid is, tossing that.
If your child is beating another child, there's no reason for you to talk about
But
it.
how do you feel about the parent? The point that I'm making is, how do you feel about the parent saying that to his own kid? If the kid's in a shitty situation, do you have the same feeling about it, or if like you see a parent kind of going, "Hey, get up," berating his own kid because he's on the bottom? Do you
That's
have
totally different. We've talked about that.
Yeah, that's totally
There's been. I've watched the podcast.
I don't like that either, but that's totally different.
I watched the podcast from episode 1 up until last week, and there was one time you gentlemen, when your cousin was here, talked about those parents that have never done a thing in athletics. They look like they can't do a push-up.
Are now experts.
Are now experts in telling the child to get up, to get out, to take them down, to tackle them, whatever the case may be. When you yourself, have never done anything like that in your life. Never. The athletic ability gene jumped over you and landed in your child. So if you don't know what that is, how the fuck are you supposed to tell them what to do? Let me hold you down. And try and make you get up. Because I can tell you this much. If the nature boy Ric Flair, 16-time heavyweight world champion, is holding you down, you ain't never getting up, baby. You ain't never getting up. And that's the nature boy's 2 cents on that. Woo!
That makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense. I don't know what I would do in that scenario. I maybe walked out in iron jewelry. If I had somebody
iron
snapping.
jewelry.
Yeah.
Okay.
And handcuffs.
Yes.
Chris thought you were going metrosexual.
I was like, wow, iron jewelry. I'd be interested to see what you're going to wear.
I know your hand. You got
I mean, don't get me wrong, a bracelet will go nice with like a shirt if you roll up the sleeves and stuff, so it just depends on what you're wearing.
I don't know if the bracelet's going to fit around these wrists.
So Shay, how does it feel to be the second sexiest man here today?
I have to be honest, I concede. I mean, look at this. Outside of my eyes, which I know are working for me, I mean, look at this. What can I say? What can I say? Outside of, I concede.
This one's for Madge.
This is for all the ladies.
So did you say there was a phone call or something? What was that all about?
Yeah, Madge wants him to open his robe.
It's already been done.
These
Ric
guys,
Flair kissed all the girls and makes them all cry, even the fat ones. Woo!
We like to, for you viewers out there, that's the big boned with a nice personality. We don't call them fat.
Woo!
So what's on your schedule, Mr. Flair?
What's always on the Nature Boy's schedule? Styling, profiling, kissing girls, making them cry,
Now, what brings
wheeling dealing, diamond ring wearing, limousine riding, jet flying, son of a gun. That's what's on the Nature Boy's schedule. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, nonstop. Woo! Woo!
And what brings you to this neck of the woods? Yeah.
Firstly, your invitation.
The obvious one then. Okay.
Number 1. Number 2, the Nature Boy is a huge fan of the Mad Chat podcast.
Well, thank you for that. We appreciate it.
We do appreciate
And we'll
it.
pass that along.
I know Paul's out there right now working on a broadcast deal for us in New York, and we hope all that goes well. So hopefully we can have you on again when Paul can be here.
At the same time.
Absolutely.
That would be
Like
great.
Superman and Clark Kent.
That would be great.
What's happening?
I'm not quite sure.
What's happening?
Woo!
I thought maybe I was going to run over and get that AED heart.
Shock him?
Yeah.
I don't know. He's looking better than you.
That's the heartbeat of America. The nature boy doesn't need an AED. You need an AED. You red ass looking motherfucker. That's what we're talking about here.
No, it's not working today. It's not working today.
So, what was one of your favorite matches, Mr. Flair?
All of my matches are my favorite matches. What match is not a favorite of the nature boy Ric Flair? When have I not been the premier, the best wrestler alive to ever walk into the squared circle? Hulk Hogan who? You're looking at wrestling personified, the nature boy. How many time heavyweight champ?
16.
16. How many times?
16?
16 times the world heavyweight champ.
Mr. Flair, I got to ask you, there was a big UFC this weekend, and, a lot of people are making the crossover back into, professional wrestling or into mixed martial arts. How do you, if you're around today, or mixed martial arts was around when you were
in your
wrestling,
prime,
do you think you would have made that transition? And if so, how do you think you would have done?
The answer is no. I bled for this business. I am this business. I will never get back from this business what it is given to me. Professional wrestling is Ric Flair's life. Now, have I seen some guys emulate and copy Ric Flair? Of course I have. Conor McGregor, Chael Sonnen, and the list goes on. They know what a winner looks like. They know about promotion and commotion. They know about putting butts in the buckets. Woo! That's how it's done. But I would never disrespect this wrestling business that has given me so much and continues to do so.
What's in your future? Quickly, to wrap it up.
I was just going to say, what do you see yourself getting into in the future?
Let me explain to you what's in my future. From day one until now, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, jet flying, limousine riding, pinky ring wearing, kissing all the girls and making them cry. That's what Ric Flair is. That's what Ric Flair does. That's what Ric Flair will always do. Woo! And I leave you with that.
Well, on that, guys, that's it for the Matt Chat podcast. Thanks for joining us. I'm Frank Ciotto, for my cousin Paul Ciotto, Chris Shea, and the man, the myth, the legend, the only one, Ric Flair.
The nature boy, Ric Flair, 16-time heavyweight champion of the world. Thank you to the Matt Chat podcast. The pleasure was all yours. I hope to see you again. Woo! Woo!